What's up, folks? It's a Panther Fan Talk. I'm Eric, and with me, as always, is Will.
Just finished the 2015 NFL Draft. Panthers got all their picks in. A couple trades. Some good choices, some questionable choices.
Yeah, interesting.
Any place in particular you want to start?
Well, let's start at good old number one, man. Shaq Thompson.
Yeah, we got our immediate reactions just after the last video, or during the last video. We got our immediate reactions just as soon as it happened. Hindsight, I'm still pretty happy about it. I still think he's potentially the best player in the defensive side of the ball in the NFL draft this year. He could be a bust. We don't know. That's the beauty of professional sports. But I think he certainly has that potential, and to get him at 25. Some people say it's a reach, but he wasn't going to be there at 57.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I say good choice.
Yeah, I always wanted good old Landon Collins there, but I think his coverage skills scared pretty much every team away. You saw we didn't take him, and then none of the other teams that was projected to take him took him, the Colts or anybody like that. So I feel better about the Shaq Thompson today than I did when we first drafted him. I think he's going to be obviously a stud, so pretty happy about it.
My sources out in Washington got somebody.
All the Huskies.
Buddy of mine that actually Washington State people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they promoted Shaq Thompson, so I think anytime the rivals on the bandwagon, it's probably a pretty good bandwagon.
Yeah, Seattle is what we're working with now. So.
Yeah. So in the second we traded up, and we traded a pretty good bit to move up. We traded our second, our third, our sixth, all to move up for Funchess.
Funchess, yes sir. Devin Funchess, man, he's a freaking huge wide receiver. I mean, him and Kelvin Benjamin is freaking just, we got the monster receivers now, so Cam's going to have a hard time overthrowing him like he usually does. His speed's interesting. At the combine, they say he ran a 4.7. At his pro day, they say he ran like a 4.4, so let's hope to God it was more of a 4.4 than a 4.7. But either way, it's just another big target for Cam, and I like the pick a lot.
I'm not sure how much he'll be on the outside, how much he'll be lined up at tight end. They had him as a tight end wide receiver. Watching him, I personally think he looks a lot like T.O. the way he plays the game. The attitude he brings, hopefully not off the field, but on the field. The way he runs with the ball, the way he catches with his hands, never seems to bring it into his body to make the catch. But as far as what we gave up for him, I'm not minding it. The 6th round pick, that's pretty much, what are you getting in the 6th round usually anyways. Yeah. And the 3rd and a 2nd, I know Gittleman said that he thought that was the chance. If you want a top-notch receiver, that's the opportunity right there. They were flying off the board. So I think that was a really good pick, and I can't wait to see our red zone offense this year. Tolbert, Cam, Benjamin, Funchess,
and freaking Stewart, and did you say Cam already? You know what Cam does.
Yep.
So. Gettleman talking about Funchess being a wide receiver or tight end. I believe he said he was going to be a wide receiver.
Oh, okay, I hadn't heard that yet.
And what else was I thinking of? I don't know. That might be it. The only thing that concerns me is his drops. I believe he had a couple drops last year, and for God's sakes, we don't need any more drops as a wide receiver. So hopefully he's got short hands. I mean, he's big enough. I think he'd be good. I like the pick. So.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of our first 2 picks. Our next pick, though, it's a little bit questionable depending on where you project him to play. That's Daryl Williams out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He's a offensive tackle, which we sorely needed. I think everybody was screaming, where was the pick for OT in the first 2 rounds. I mean, I know on Twitter a lot of people thought we reached for Shaq. They thought we traded too much for Funchess.
Mm-hmm.
So finally get the offensive tackle everyone wanted, but I don't know that it's the offensive tackle that everyone actually wanted.
Yeah, I believe, actually from what I just got to reading, he started 34, 35 games at right tackle. And then reading a little bit of what Gettleman was saying, they're going to try to play him at both sides, both left and right, and see what he's got. I believe at the combine he had like the slowest cone time at the whole freaking combine. So that's kind of scary. But watching some of his highlights that I can find, because there's not very much stuff on him. But what I can find, man, this guy's a freaking bulldozer. If he wants the line to go left, it's freaking going left. If he wants the run to go right, it's freaking going right. He looks good, man. So other than the slow times, I think he's going to be good too.
Yeah, I think, especially judging by what you just said, I see him as a guard more than a tackle. I know that he played right tackle.
Yeah.
We really needed a left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with his skill set, the lack of footwork, the bulldozer mentality,
Right.
I really see him being more of an interior lineman at the next level.
I can see that too, yeah.
But, I mean, get a chance to have a guy that can play inside and outside. I know how much the Panthers typically love the versatile offensive lineman, so
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's certainly a guy that will be on the roster for years to come. Maybe just not at the spot that most people were hoping when they heard Carolina Panthers select offensive tackle.
Yeah, we gave up a pretty good bid for him, but, I think he's going to be good. He's got a lot of potential, and from what I was reading about him, he said, he likes to come in and just put his head down and go to work, so that's always, reassuring and refreshing to hear, so I like that pick too.
Just stepping back to Funchess, I know we mentioned the combine twice already. The 40 time, I don't really worry too much about that.
Yeah.
Watching him on film, he seems plenty fast enough.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
And a lot of times it's as much to do with how well they carried their pads.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the pro day stuff and the stuff done at colleges seems to be tainted.
Right.
Guys will run like you said, a 4.7 in the combine and a 4.13 at the pro day. So it's probably somewhere in between. But the biggest thing is on film. I mean, he looks plenty fast enough to play receiver, and I think that's going to translate the same in the NFL. But I know in the 5th we had started at the draft with a boatload of picks. Obviously, by the time we got around to the 5th, we had traded away a second, a third, a sixth, a fourth, a fifth, and a seventh. So we went into the draft with 10 picks. We came out of it with 5, and those 2 spots we took David Mayo, linebacker out of Texas State, and Cameron Artis-Payne, running back out of Auburn. I guess let's start with the first one, which was Mayo.
I don't really know much about him, other than I know he's got long, luscious blonde hair, and people like to call him
Which
Thor.
worked out great for us last year. I think
Obviously,
everybody remembers the
Burson.
punt returns
Yeah,
at the end of the season by Burson.
the lawns main. People call him Thor, though. Supposedly people out in Texas State say, every time he goes to hit somebody, they hear like a nice loud pop. So,
Gotta imagine this is a special teams move. I mean, we just drafted Shaq. We've already got Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly. That's, most of our linebacking time right there as Davis goes weak side and strong side. We're almost always in a nickel. We've got 2 great backups on the team with Optimus Klein and
Glenn. I'm not sure what his first name is, but it's Glenton's last name for sure.
so it's got to just be a special teams move, which Lord knows we need all the special teams help we can get. So
Yeah, I'm sure they felt that David Mayo was obviously the best player available at that spot at that pick. So
I would like to. I personally think there had to be a safety though at that moment. I mean, you're going to take a chance on a linebacker that you're probably going to be cutting 3 people, from that squad already that are good, that are going to be able to go to other teams and possibly
Exactly,
start.
yeah.
So if you're looking for special teams help, why not a safety?
I agree. We need a safety. We need a cornerback too. So I don't know. Like this pick's the one that's really shaky for me that I can't explain too much other than I guess they felt he was the best player available. But other than that, I've got no answer.
Yeah,
for
I'm all
my,
for BPA, but I feel like that one was maybe a
reach.
time when been like kind of taking a quarterback at that point. What's the point? Even a backup quarterback maybe eventually supplants Anderson, but
It's true,
I don't know
it's true.
when we're possibly going to be using David Mayo. But either way, later in that round, as before mentioned, Artis-Payne, running back out of Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this guy for one reason that I'm sure is being thrown about by now, but I didn't hear it right away, and that was it's coming out of Auburn.
Yeah,
We got a pretty good guy in the backfield already that came out of Auburn,
that's true.
and played the same system, the same spread system, same run designs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to translate great with Cam.
Okay.
So his running style always seems to, keep his body fairly low to the ground. He's got good power. What do you think about it?
I think he's good, man. He ran a 4.53. I'm not exactly sure how tall he is, but he weighs 215 or 215. He weighs 215, 212. Man, all the highlights I've seen on him, he don't go down in the first contact. He freaking just plows to everybody and at least gets an extra 3 or 4 yards even when he's trying to be tackled. Looks like he hits the hole, he looks like he puts his shoulder down and hits the hole, as hard as you want a running back to hit it. And he looks good, man. I like this pick. I think last year his yards were like 1,600, and he had like 13 rushing touchdowns, so it's a good pick. I like it.
I think this guy could be the steal of the draft at running back. I know it was getting tweeted out as he was waiting, like people talking about how he was the diamond in the rough, the guy that everybody was looking over. So I tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
Watching his film, I was extremely impressed to get that quality of back at fifth. That's kind of what I was hoping for going into the draft. I thought maybe we'd have to go third or fourth to find it, but fifth round, a guy that looks like that, he looks like he could step in immediately and be the backup, first guy off the bench behind Stewart, and in week 3, 2, or 1 when Stewart goes down with the injury, that's probably preseason.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
So he could be the starter, I think, this year pretty quickly, and I think he could carry the rock. Him and Cam back there, Tolbert blocking.
And Fozzie, don't forget Fozzie.
Running game looks a lot better than it did coming into the draft to me.
A lot better, yeah. We obviously lost Williams. This guy, man, he does look like a steal. 5th round. I mean, going by highlights, he looked like at least a 2nd rounder to me.
Yeah,
just by the just by the highlights and tapes. But we'll see. We'll see.
So as a whole, if you had to give a grade to the Carolina Panthers, where are you going?
If I had to get a grade, obviously going from the A being A plus being the best to the F minus being the absolute worst, I'm gonna give it a B plus, man. The only reason I give it a B plus because I'm not sure why in the 5th round we would take another linebacker besides obviously is the best player available, but there's a lot of positions where we need it. But I'm going B plus.
I love the fact that we were willing to throw the kitchen sink out there trying to get the guys that we wanted in Funchess and Daryl Williams.
Yeah.
Now the negative to that is I don't know why we wanted Daryl Williams that bad. The linebacker pick in the 5th round, I don't really understand that one.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad we've got offensive line help, so I'm not completely bashing that. I just don't know that he was worth 3 picks.
Right.
I also do think, however, that Funchess was worth 3 picks. I love that we went after Shaq, when a lot of the so-called experts didn't think he was worth it.
Yeah.
That spot, which once again I beat this to death, but dude wasn't gonna be there at the 57th. It's take him then or not take him. So I say great pick. I love the Artis-Payne pick. I love the Funchess pick. So 3 that I love, 1 that I don't understand at all. 1 I think we spent too much on. I think I'm sitting at a B myself.
The thing about Funchess I didn't point out was I believe Gettleman had a 1st round grade on Funchess. So.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I said a B, but really at the end of the day, if you come out of the draft with 3 guys, much like last year, a lot of people gave Carolina the C minus.
Yeah.
Come end of the season, they did the redraft thing in the NFL. They would have had like 4 starters.
Yeah, we got
4
8
first rounders. So I think after it come into the season, redraft, I think we'd be sitting here with 3 first-round picks.
I agree.
So, I mean, if A plus, if they wanted to go that route, I probably couldn't go A plus. You go into the draft with 10 picks, come out with 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe you were a lot closer with the B plus, A minus. So I guess that's it. Post draft coverage here, Panther Fan Talk.
Yeah, man. Now it's time to see, what these guys can do on the field. Obviously, hopefully, we're right and they're freaking studs. Because obviously, you don't want your whole your whole draft to just be a bust, because that's not going to be a good team, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think you want any of them to be. For that
You
matter.
don't want any of them to be, but you definitely don't want all of them. So, I think we've done good, man. I like it.
I'm a fan. So I guess we'll be back here pretty soon, talking Panther news. I know this year we're going to do something new with a little bit of fantasy talk as it pertains to the Panthers before the season. We're going to probably talk, once we get into mini camps, about all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Training camp, preseason, regular season, game by game. Catch it all right here. Panther Fan Talk. Check us out on Twitter at
Panther Fan Talk.
Subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, like our channel, man. We appreciate everybody that's watched our videos.
Yep. Thanks for that, and we'll see you next time. Panther Fan Talk.
Keep pounding.